What up, buddy bags? BDG Reviews here. What I got for you today is a review of a newer movie, and that is the 2021 remake / sequel of Candyman. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying my thoughts on the original Candyman. I think it's a classic. I think it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. So, going into this, my expectations were really low. I was expecting, like, a 3.5 sort of thing. And luckily I was pleasantly surprised. I don't even know what to call it, because officially it's a reboot, I think, but it's a sequel. It's a direct sequel to the original. So we need a name for those. Requels or something, maybe? I don't know. But it follows this guy. He's a painter. He's living in the newly gentrified Cabrini Green. And he starts to hear, the old stories of Candyman and everything. And he starts working it into his artwork. And essentially it's like the rebirth of Candyman. I'm going to try to be as spoiler-free as possible here. So, the first thing, when I first heard about this movie happening, my first thought was, uh-oh, we're going to get like a woke Candyman remake. That was my initial thought. Luckily, that isn't the case. They, essentially, let's put it this way. When you look at like a remake of like Black Christmas, which is super woke and super pathetic and stupid, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. You come up with an interesting story that has to do with the certain topics you want to cover, but you don't ram a political ideology or anything down someone's throat. I think it's a good way to go about it. This entire movie, honestly, I saw no real quote-unquote wokeness in it until right at the end. There's a scene that I saw it and I was like, really? That's what you're going with? But at the same time, it was what was necessary to give the movie the ending that it needed. There is a way it could have been done better, but I'd have to go into spoilers to talk about that, so I won't. But let's just say this: you could fix it with one scene. That's all you need. One thing I did find with this movie is I definitely get the feeling that this movie's been cut. So I think, to get the R rating, to get it into theaters, I think stuff was trimmed. Because, there are a lot of, the kill scenes and everything where stuff isn't shown that I have this real sinking feeling that stuff is shot. And hopefully we'll see it on a director's cut. But, that's that. This also does stuff with the Candyman lore, which is kind of interesting. It takes the original Candyman that we know and love, Tony Todd's Candyman, and he's still there, but there are other versions of Candyman, if you will, throughout the years, and it's kind of neat. Honestly, one of the creepiest scenes in the movie, it's one, it's not a spoiler, there's this hole in the wall, and this kid is there, and, this dude just comes out of the hole in the wall, and he's just a dude, he's got, a hook for a hand, but he's just a dude, but it's genuinely creepy. This movie hits all the right notes, and honestly, just one wrong note. And like I said, that could be addressed with one scene. I have to get into it. I have to. I'll try to stay spoiler-free as I get into this. Essentially, this one character has been I don't want to say masterminding, because that's not really the right word, but he's been kind of working behind the scenes on like the villainous side, if you will. All we needed was one scene with him talking to... I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. If you've seen it, here we go. The guy at the end in the car. If you got one scene of him talking to this other guy, you could have tied everything together a lot smoother. Just saying, that's just my thought. Acting wise, this movie is completely solid. I believed everyone. They all seemed genuine. No one was hamming it up, which is something, honestly, when it comes to horror movies, you see a lot of. You see someone like overacting. No one's overacting. It's perfect. The soundtrack is gorgeous, and honestly, the fact that we have to wait until like January of 2022 to get the vinyl of the soundtrack is almost criminal. Really solid movie. The effects, honestly, are really good. There's a lot of really good use of mirror effects. So, like, and not just your standard, like, oh, like someone's there and they look in the mirror and something's behind them. Not just that. I'm talking like, you'll have someone walking and like, the mirror over here will be showing something going on with Candyman, and over here, like the real thing, nothing's happening. And it's in the same shot. It's great. I really enjoyed it. This movie, for a rating, I give it 8.5 out of 10. I just have to take points off, one, for it feeling like stuff has been cut out, and two, for not being the original Candyman. It's that simple, a remake is never going to live up to the original. That's just how it is. But all in all, this is a superior remake. Requel. I'm going with requel. So yeah, if you have any interest in the Candyman story, I definitely recommend it. I'd actually recommend it even more so if you weren't a huge fan of the original Candyman. If you saw it and you thought like, it's okay, it's a pretty good movie, give this one a shot. I think you'll like it. And I just, also, last little note I gotta say, the Tony Todd cameo, which does exist in the movie, is awesome. When it hits, I was just like, yes, you've given me what I want. So all in all, really good flick. 8.5 out of 10. Definitely see it. And, you know what, see it often. Yeah. That's it for me. See you next week.